As good as saying, Zimbabwe, welcome to our channel, Zim Confessions and Deep Secrets. Kana kari kitanka kukwea paneno channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Kana chungwa gara subscribe, but don't forget to comment and share this video. Nasi Zimbabwe, tavigirai nyaya yabuditswa na George Charamba yabuda chitara iye achiti Mnangagwa akashata door on dialogue with YaChamisa since nyaya iyo yakatopfura enda hakuna dialogue uchaitwa zvakare pakati pa Mnangagwa na Nelson Chamisa. George Charamba, the deputy chief secretary in the office of the president and cabinet, abuda chitara achiti president Emerson Mnangagwa close the door on any dialogue with opposition leader Nelson Chamisa. My remarks are how I'm sure Makungi, an economist, a gift Mungano, Babuda, but call Zimbabweans across the political space could engage in a dialogue to resolve my country's problems. Babuda's commenter on his ex-end of Chora Iwo, which Zimbabweans are Kwanisa, overcome my past challenges how every time Pawaka unite Zimbabwe, since maybe Waka unite or carry my problems are Mono Zimbabwe and Anwanqua, Ajipera, Babuda Wachite. Let's resolve our challenges or differences through an inclusive national dialogue. And fellow Zimbabweans, we have it on the record that when we sit down and dialogue with Zimbabweans, we make progress as a country. Striking example of what dialogue can do are the talks between ZANU and ZAPU and ZANU-PF and MDC, which produced 1987 Unit Accord and GNU respectively. As likewise, we have it on record that when we unite, we move mountains. We unite as one people against the Smith regime and defeated them during our hard-won armed struggle. Demonstrations will not help us to resolve our differences or challenges. Likewise, crackdown on citizens will not help us to resolve our challenges or differences. Our neck-to-neck approach is resolving our differences or challenges. That is true through demonstrations and massive crackdowns by the government of Zimbabwe produced one, a bad country image or brand, 2, capital flight, 3, company closures, 4, joblessness, 5, poverty, 6, high levels of stunting growth, 7, exodus of Zimbabweans at all corners of the world, 8, social ills, drug menace among youths and corruption, etc. 9, vicious cycles of economic crisis, and 10, a bitter and divided people. Haven't we suffered enough? Where is our intellectual capital? Where is our moral sojourn for the poor, vulnerable people and the youths? Crackdown on citizens must stop. Let us find each other. Let us talk. Let us resolve our challenges and differences through dialogue, not demonstrations. Let us unite and develop our country. I appeal to our leaders from the business communities, churches, civil society, political parties, government of Zimbabwe, academics, labor, etc. to rise to the challenge and provide leadership towards the establishment of an inclusive dialogue aimed at providing permanent solutions to our differences or challenges. Crackdown on citizens must stop. Let us find each other. Let us talk. Let us resolve our challenges and differences through dialogue, not demonstrations. Let us unite and develop our country. Zimbabwe must unite. Together we can make Zimbabwe great. Zvataurwa Zimbabwe. So George Charamba wapindira vachi reply to this post vachitaura ivo vachiti hapasisina nyaya yema talks vachiti the ship has already sailed for dialogue. Charamba wabuda vachi accuse vamungano pamwechete na human rights lawyer advocate Tabani Mpofu since they misled Chamisa Zimbabwe since so now hapasisina nguva ye dialogue. Professor, here is my best honest view from inside. Nguva yataida naurirano yakapfuura. That's the truth. Those keen on talks took up the chance and are communicating with the state. Those who chose to stay out of the dialogue because of cheap advice from you, an advocate Fulcrum, will remain outside the circuit of dialogue. What you are harvesting are the disutilities of your amateurish political exuberance in the run-up of elections. You fortified Chamisa on the wrong. Today, he is the wilderness you created, and you want to sound constructive, reasonable, and level-headed. You are part of the cabal and pseudo-intellectuals who misled the young men. Today, you seek to salve your conscience by abortively appearing to renegotiate for his second coming. It can't. Zvabuda Zvataurwa navaJoji Charamba reZimbabwe vachitapana matalks anokwanisa kubudirira kutaura kwatiri kuita vanonso Chamisa kubva muna January vanga vasina political party yavanga vanayo mushini wekunge vakakuita the Citizens Coalition for Change Party reZimbabwe vachitaura ivo vachiti yanga yainfiltratwa the ruling ZANU-PF party. Tisingazivi kumira sei nyaya iyi yedialogue inokwanisa kuita a way forward for our nation kana kuti zvakare gift style siziva mufunga kabuda mazuva apfuura ayo achitaura the way forward yebato YaChamisa achiexplaina kuti pakananga kupi. Tinoona vazhinji havasi kuziva kuti nosu Chamisa ari up to chii, angode macryptic message ari kusenda on his ex handle achitaura iye achiti New Zimbabwe is coming, but ainge asina kutaura kuti what is this plan. But vanova installers vakataura during an express vakataura about the plan yaNelson Chamisa. Tingazonoona sei nyaya tudzo zvamuri kufunga pamusoro penyaya iyi mucomment section.
And I'm now speaking into the way forward. One of our biggest responsibility we have now from going forward is building a credible alternative. And when I say a credible alternative, I mean that we have to do the following. Number one, we assist with the task of think tanking around building an institution. Because what happened, I listened to one of the leaders, I wouldn't mention his name now, but one of our elders in the MDC then when we were in the youth, when you listened to him speak, you would agree with Zamchia that what it became also in the opposition is what it became in ZANU-PF, is that people developed a creeping sense of entitlement and the culture of impunity. I can abuse so and no one must question me because I was there in 99. So you ought to persist and genuinely, at least for those who are genuine about the removal of ZANU, you ought to understand that we have to build a credible alternative. President Chamisa must lead a credible team that ought to make sure that one, they're an alternative to ZANU-PF, but more importantly, they ready themselves to go and govern. It must not be labored on those that communicate about the character of the organization. It must be there. It must not be ontological. It must be touchable. It must be felt by every citizen that there people are now serious about their agenda to govern. That is our preoccupation. What is the way forward around building that credible alternative? It speaks to the question that was raised by my brother Postike. Zimbabwe is a securocratic state. And those that have been involved in democratic opposition for the past 20 plus years know that you have to unlock the gridlock that has been a problem in Zimbabwe. Many people think that the problem is that the opposition has not been in power because it has lost election. That is fundamentally flawed and wrong. Because the problem in Zimbabwe is blocked transitions. We have got transitions that have been checked halfway, both the 2008, the 2018, 2018, and 2023. All these blocked transition locate the military as the decisive power block in the Zimbabwean questions of transition. So in the process of building an alternative, Democrats and all progressive Zimbabweans ought to understand and devise mechanisms and methods to deal with this element in the room to ensure that we resolve the questions of transition. Because people have done well in dealing with questions of winning power. But the key questions of the future of governance in this country must be about how do you, after attaining power, make sure that you foster and lead society towards a democratic breakthrough and a transition. So that is the elephant in the Zimbabwean body politic. that we are confronted with. And you ought to understand, and we've articulated our policy around the role of the securocrats. It's a very sensitive space, but it's important for citizens to understand. We've articulated, because if you look at the reality of these countries, that securocrats are meant and used to hold the power on behalf of a political elites. A political elite, for example, the securocrats played a key role in internal transition of ZANU-PF. When Mnangagwa was defeated in ZANU by the so-called G40, it took the securocrats to intervene and foster a transition in ZANU-PF. What that means is that